Let's talk about the decision to use Hulk as the guy to go national. It's been said that one of Vince's other ideas would have been Dusty Rhodes, but even Meltzer agrees that that was probably 10 years too late. If Vince was trying to go national in the mid 70s, he couldn't have found a better solution than Dusty Rhodes. Other names kicked around, of course, would have been Jimmy Snuka, who certainly had reliability issues, to say the least. Sergeant Slaughter, he was also one of Vince's top baby faces. But other big names were guys like Kerry Von Erich, who maybe by that point had started to develop a bit of a reputation for being unreliable. But who else could have even been that national guy? Would it have been a Ricky Steamboat, a Magnum TA, a Barry Windham? Or are you a homer? Do you think it could have been Jerry Lawler? Who could have been if it wasn't Hulk? Who do you think your dad would have went with? That's maybe a better way of saying it. If your dad was the guy making the play to go national, who would your dad have went with? Would he have went with Lawler or someone else?
And this is where to kind of walk down. That's why sometimes I steer away from Mount Rushmore discussions because it's all subjective and opinionated and timing, and that's why you can slice and dice it any way you want. But and I'll call this the modern era when we transition from local TV to cable television. You can call it divine intervention, pathways crossing. You can look at all the famous rock stars. If they didn't have the right producer at the right time and present them, either they wrote the song or had the right song that was written presented to them. I just think the magic in Vince and Hulk, had Hulk not been available, yes, the business still would have gone national. I just believe the booking philosophy would have probably been different, Conrad, because you named all to me the kind of top options, and Lawler was 6 foot, incredible mouthpiece. Out of all those guys you named, I think he's the ability to talk was I think in a lot of ways far surpassed Hogan, but not in the hype way. And that's why I just think the combination of a blonde haired, catchphrase talking, 6'7", tanned up, Hulkamania, had all the pieces of Idol and Lawler and Hogan. And you got to remember, in my opinion, and we kind of glossed over it, but Hogan forging his way territory and then having the ability to go to Japan, and folks that say, oh, Hogan could never work. Well, he may not be able to do what we call classic, what we call today, whether it's flips or 5-star or whatever it is. Go watch some Japan matches and watch Hogan move, and watch some early Hogan as a heel work with Andre, and look at, he literally learned his trade and craft. That's why without Vince or without Hogan, you take one of the two. I just think, yeah, sure, it'd been national, and I think wildly successful. I just don't think there is a substitute. I think that's part of the magic. And I think at the end of the day, I think that's why, in a lot of ways, we are doing this podcast today, because I think that is the importance of those two teaming up and having the vision. And shit, if Hogan didn't have the worth ethic, I'm not even sure we'd be doing this podcast either, because the grind and everything. Now, the sacrifices he's made physically on his body, on his marriages, and on his family life, and probably friendships and relationships. Nothing was getting in the way of Hulk and Hulkamania, and that was him loading up the wagon. And those guys in the late 80s. When I tell you the stories of fighting to get on the Hogan card because they were running 2 and 3 shows a night, he was the Pied Piper. I remember Kurt telling me, Henning, he'd come to Memphis and talk about, I'm on the Hogan loop for the next 3. It's hard to put into words, and it's a different era and different time in so many ways. But Conrad, I don't think there is a replacement in that booking philosophy, and that means top babyface with the heel factory. It could have been a different philosophy, so to speak.
Hey, I do want to ask you, when we're talking about, the success of Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan and the WWF, it's easy to think about how quickly it happened, or easy to forget how quickly it happened. As a reminder, Hogan wins the belt at the end of January 1984. 13 months later is when they're going to do, or 14 months later is when they're going to do WrestleMania. And along the way, during that 14 months, they're going to pick up their first toy deal. They're going to pick up MTV. They're going to pick up NBC. They're going to pick up Cyndi Lauper. They're going to pick up Mr. T. A lot of our listeners, they weren't around for the A Team. Can you give everybody sort of an idea of where Mr. T was with regard to television here in America, or just pop culture in general?
What was the show? And help me out. What was I don't want to call it a reality show, but it was like a bouncer show that broke him. Because I can remember in high school, that show that kind of broke Mr. T before the A Team. And I don't know what it was, or I may be getting, but anyway, he was, again, very much prior to cable television. So you had 4 channels to choose from. He was a legit larger than life persona, and then casted that TV show. And it just, in so many ways, Vince's vision of putting professional wrestling, this is where kind of roll your eyes. Well, no, it's not really roll your eyes, because the territory promoters, and my father being one of them, yeah, they had Joe Louis back in the day, and they had different athletes and different things, but literally getting Ali and Liberace and making him, the super mega event, and none of this happens without cable television. I get that. And that's why I'm saying there's so many layers to it, but the vision to go national, and Hogan being able to carry the weight and go on and do promos, and he could do a promo that could do Mr. T's. Mr. T just had to say a few words, but Mr. T was a big time pop culture, very unique celebrity that fit right in the crosshairs. I mean, a bullseye of being aligned with professional wrestling, and it just clicked. Cyndi Lauper, New Yorker, brash, that just fit in so many, just fit professional wrestling. Having the idea of the word WrestleMania. Oh, wow. And you got to remember, all across America, Crockett's were hot. Texas was hot. Tennessee was hot. New York territory was hot. Like every territory. So all these homes across America in all the different territories were doing big television numbers and successful territory business. And then all of a sudden you create that one big funnel and WrestleMania. Oh, and you had the JYD from Louisiana, and you had Hacksaw from Louisiana, and you had Hercules Hernandez. You had a Dallas star. You had this star. Oh, Savage was just here. Now he's up there. I'm jumping around timelines, but it was a true superstar collab that just clicked. You go back. I just saw recently that We Are the World, Conrad, that video, and the Live Aid or whatever it was. But you had the pop stars of every music genre in one room singing one song. In a lot of ways, just the collab of all these territory stars on one show, and Hogan leading the charge with all the marching and the vision behind it. It just clicked on every cylinder. It was pop culture in the 80s.
Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment, and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next 2 house payments. That's right. You won't have to make your June or your July house payment. You're done until August 1st. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years,
you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to savewithconrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at savewithconrad.com. Shoot me an email at conrad@savewithconrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105 or get yourself a quick quote. Even talk to a live person right now at savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at savewithconrad.com.